Hello, Accelerated Math 6-7 students. We are now going to start video 19. And so if you take a look in here in my comp book, video 19 is solve percent problems, and we find it on page 40 in my comp book. So I'm going to turn there. And here is page 40 in my comp book, and it's working with solve percent problems. So our goal for today is, today we are going to learn how to use the part and the percent to find the whole. So we know the part, we know the percent, but we don't know the whole. So we're going to figure out how to do that. Okay, and the question that will help us is there an equation that we can use to help us find the missing part? And if the answer is yes, what is it? Okay, so there are three sections in all percent problems, and I need you to start paying attention to those three sections. The three sections that we have in percent problems is we have the part, and the part, like we talked about earlier, is the amount of the group. Okay? The percent is a rate out of 100, and the whole is the total amount of the group. Okay? So we have a part is a specific amount of the group, the percent is the rate out of 100, and the whole is the total amount of the group, or the total number of things in the group. Okay? The thing I want you to remember is the percent represents the part out of the whole. Okay? The percent represents the part out of the whole. So basically, when you take part divided by whole, you are getting the percent. And that makes sense, right? We've been working that. So, for example, if we had 100 items and part of that 100 items was 58, then what percent do I have? 58%. So again, remember that percent represents the part is 58, out of the whole. The whole happens to be 100 in this example. Okay? So, percent always gets multiplied by the whole. Percent always gets multiplied by the whole. So if we were to make up a thing, we have the percent equals, right? The percent equals part of the whole. That's what we said in the first one, right? Percent equals part of the whole. And then in the second one, it says the percent always gets multiplied by the whole. The percent always gets multiplied, percent always gets multiplied by the whole. And when you do that, you get the part. Okay, do you see what I'm setting up? So percent equals part of whole. Of in math is also multiply, right? Percent times whole gives you the part. Okay, do you see what we're doing? And then the last one, if we took the we'll get to that in just a minute. So I'm trying to help you see what we're going to do. So another way we could write these is we could say percent equals part times whole. We could say percent times whole gives you the part, okay, and we're going to work with those. So let's look at it. What if we have 20% of 10? 20% of 10. So let's write that as a mathematical problem. So this is the percent, okay, of means to multiply, and 10 is the whole. Because remember, it's 20% of 10, so 10 has to be your whole. So if we do that, what that really looks like is we have 20% times 10. And remember, when you have this in a percent sign, you have to turn it into a fraction over 100. So what this really means is you have 20 hundredths times 10 over 1. And then you know how to do this problem. What's 20 times 10? 200. What's 100 times 1? 100. What is 200 divided by 100? 2. So what we figured out is 20% of 10 is 2. Let's draw it on a tape diagram and see. So our hole is 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Takes a little too long, so erase that. We know that this spot right here represents 100, and so it says that 20% would be 2. So here would be 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%, 90%, 100%. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 10 being our whole, and they all match up. So if you're saying 20% of 10, you go to 20, and what number do you have? 2. So you can do it either way. You could use a tape diagram to figure this out, or you could do straight multiplication like we did above. Okay? So now let's look at the next one, and the next one says 75% of what number is 45? Okay, so let's label it. If you want to see it in a book, this is what it looks like right here. 75% of what number is 45? So 75% is your percent. Of means multiply in math. We don't know what the whole is, so it's a blank. Is in math means equal, and 45 is the part. Okay, so that's the equation we have. So percent times whole equals part. Okay, so now we just have to write it as a math problem and see what we can figure out. So we have 75% times what number equals 45? Well, if we're trying to figure that, we got to go back to right here and help us figure it out. So we're trying to figure out 75% of what number is 45. So on here, you're trying to use a tape diagram, right? And we know that this would be 100%, right? And then 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, let's see. So 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. And then what if we counted by 5, however? Could we do by 5? Because we got to go to 75. So that would make it a whole bunch more, wouldn't it? Let's do more. Let's see. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. So let's scoot it down and actually make it a little bit longer. So this is 100%, and this is 5%. So this would be 15%. This would be 25%, 35%, 45%, 55%, 65%, 75%, 85%, and 95%. Okay, so it says that 75%, so up to here, is of what number is 45? Is 45. So is 45 gives us the answer. So this right here, 75% of what number is 45. So they're saying this right here is 45. Okay, so we have to figure out what is the total number. Okay, so there's two ways of doing this. We could take 75 over 100 times something gives us 45. Well, in order to get this off to figure out what we're doing, we can divide by 75 100ths, right? So when we divide by that, we have to, what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So we're going to take 45 divided by 75 100ths, right? In order to divide, we have to have a common denominator. So 1 times 100 gives you 100. 45 times 100 is 45 hundredths, right? divided by 75 hundredths. 100 divided by 100 is 1. 4,500 divided by 75, we can do that math. Not necessarily your favorite, but we can try it. So 75, let's try times 6. So that would give us 42, 43, 44, 45. Ta-da! We found it. So this would be 6, which is 45, or 450, and then 6. So we now know that we have 60 over 1. Okay? So what that's telling us is that the total amount is 60. And does that make sense? Let's see if it makes sense. So we know that 45 is 75, so that would mean that the total amount. So let's try it. 75 over 100 times 60 over 1 should give us an answer of 45. Let's see if it does. So 75 times 60 gives us, aha, boys and girls, look at that. So we get 45 hundredths. 100 times 1 is 100. 4,500 divided by 100 is 45, and you just figured it out. So the answer is correct. It would be 60. So the total amount is 60. Okay? So do you see how we did that? I know, it's a little bit tricky. We'll do some more together in class, and hopefully that will clarify it for you. Okay, there's one left in your book that I want you to try without me, and let's see if you can do it. Just try. Don't get scared. Just try. What if you don't know the part? So we have a part of 100 is 25%. A part of 100 is 25%. So you have to figure out what that part is. So we're taking a number out of 100 times, of means times, 100 over 1, because that's the whole, and then what do you get when you have to finish that off? Okay, if you know the answer is 25%, think about what you're doing. 25% means that it's, I'm not going to say it, you can figure it out yourself. All right, so do that one by yourself, and we'll check it tomorrow on the board. Let's go back over here. Is there an equation that we can use to help us find the missing part? Answer is, what is it? I'll give you a big hint. Take a look down here, because these could be turned into equations. Percent times whole equals the part. Percent times whole equals part. Something like that. Think about that. All right, my darlings, I hope I didn't confuse you too much. We'll do a lot more practice with it in class so that you can hopefully understand it and figure it out. Okay, hope you have a good one. Bye.